You think you've already seen everything from the Met Gala 2026. The red carpet, the flashes, the headlines. But that's not where the story really begins. Because the moment the cameras faded, something shifted. Quietly, almost invisibly. And then suddenly, the entire internet caught up all at once. What happened that night wasn't just another celebrity appearance. It felt different. It felt like a line being crossed. And at the center of it was Blackpink. Now stay with this. Don't skip. Because the part most people missed is the part that matters. At first, everything looked normal. Big names moving into after parties, private venues, closed doors, no live streams, no official coverage. Just the kind of rooms where influence is real, not measured by likes, not measured by views, measured by who's allowed inside. And then, one by one, they appeared. Lisa, Blackpink. Jennie, Blackpink. Rose, Blackpink. Jisoo, Blackpink. Not separated. Not scattered across different locations. Together. And that doesn't usually happen. There's a different kind of energy when all four move as one. It's subtle, but people feel it instantly. You could see it in the reactions. The way heads turned. The way conversations paused, just for a second longer than usual. No announcement. No performance. No script. Just presence. And somehow, that was enough to shift the room. Lisa didn't walk in like a guest. She moved like she belonged there. And maybe that's because she did. Being part of the host committee isn't just a title. It means access. It means trust. It means you're already inside the circle, before the doors even open. And in that space, she wasn't adapting. She was operating, talking, connecting, existing at the same level as people who shape industries. Not following, not waiting, just there. Jennie carried something different. If you watched closely, she didn't try to command attention. But attention kept finding her anyway. That kind of presence doesn't come from styling. It doesn't come from hype. It comes from control. Every movement felt intentional. Every moment felt like she understood exactly how much to give and when to hold back. And that balance pulls people in. Rose slowed the room down. That's the only way to describe it. In a space full of noise, she felt quiet, but not invisible. More like undeniable. There's a kind of confidence that doesn't need to be loud. And when it shows up in the middle of chaos, it stands out even more. People noticed, even if they didn't say it out loud. And then Jisoo. Her presence didn't fight for space. It settled into it. Calm, steady, untouchable. Like someone who isn't trying to prove anything anymore. And maybe that's why it worked. Because in rooms like that, the strongest energy isn't always the loudest one. Now here's where everything changes. Because up until this point, nothing was supposed to leave those rooms. That's how after parties work. No official cameras. No controlled angles. No planned viral moments. Just people. Real moments. And then, it happened. A photo. Simple. Casual. Almost careless. Taken in a place where photos are not meant to exist. A bathroom. No stage. No lighting. No setup. Just them. All four. Together. Breaking one of the most unspoken rules of that entire night. And somehow, that's exactly why it mattered. Because it didn't feel manufactured. It didn't feel like content. It felt real. And the second it hit the internet, everything moved. Fast. Searches spiked. Timelines flooded. Edits, reactions, reposts, everywhere. But because it was unexpected, and real moments always hit harder, people weren't just reacting to the photo. They were reacting to what it meant. For artists who started in one industry, now standing inside one of the most exclusive spaces in the world. Not as outsiders, not as guests, but as part of the environment. And they didn't ask for permission to own that moment. They just did. That's the difference. That's what made people stop scrolling. That's what made people watch longer. Because somewhere in that moment, the narrative changed. Not loudly, not dramatically, But clearly, this wasn't about K-pop crossing over anymore. That already happened. This was something else. Integration. Presence. Power that doesn't need explanation. And here's the part most people don't realize. Moments like this don't come from nowhere. They build slowly, year by year, appearance by appearance. Every campaign, every stage, every risk, everything connects. And it looks effortless. But it isn't. Now think about this. If a single unplanned photo, taken in a restricted space, can move the entire internet like that, what happens when the moment is planned? What happens when the move is intentional? That's where things get unpredictable. Because now, the expectations are different. The audience is watching closer. The reactions are faster. And the impact gets bigger. You can already feel it. The way conversations are shifting. The way people are no longer asking if, but what's next? And that question is what keeps people watching. So if you're still here, you're already part of that shift. Because this wasn't just about one night. It wasn't just about one event. It was about a signal. A quiet one, but strong enough to be felt everywhere. And once you notice it, you can't unsee it. So don't look away now. Because the next move, it might redefine it. And when it happens, you'll want to say you saw it coming. And here's the part that keeps pulling people back, even after the hype should have faded. Because usually, moments like this peak fast and disappear just as quickly. But this didn't. It lingered. Clips kept resurfacing. Photos kept getting reposted. People kept zooming in, analyzing small details most would miss. Who was standing next to who? Who walked in together? Who stayed the longest? And the more people looked, the clearer it became. This wasn't random. It felt like alignment. Not forced, not staged, but naturally powerful. There's a certain weight when influence becomes effortless. And that's exactly what people were reacting to. Because for a long time, global recognition meant adapting, adjusting your image, changing your tone, blending into a system that already existed. But what happened here felt different. It didn't look like adaptation. It looked like arrival. And that subtle difference is everything. You could see it in how people around them responded. Not surprised, not confused, just accepting it. Like this was always going to happen. Like this moment wasn't an exception, but a preview. And if you pay attention to patterns, that matters. Because in entertainment, the biggest shifts rarely announce themselves. They slip in quietly. Then suddenly, they're everywhere. And this felt like one of those moments. Not loud, but undeniable. Now imagine this from a wider perspective. Different industries, different cultures, different audiences, all intersecting in one place. And instead of clashing, they connected. That's not easy. That takes timing, positioning, and a level of awareness that most people never fully see. But you can feel it when it happens. And that's why people stayed watching. Not just for the visuals, but for the meaning behind them. Because something about this moment felt bigger than the event itself. Like a signal of where things are heading next. And once that idea gets into people's minds, it doesn't leave. That's what drives retention. Curiosity. The need to understand what you're really looking at. Because on the surface, it's just a party. Just celebrities. Just photos. But underneath, it's movement. And movement creates momentum. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Because after a moment like this, expectations change. People start watching differently. Closer. More carefully. Every appearance becomes a clue. Every interaction becomes a possibility. And that pressure? It can break momentum. Or multiply it. There's no middle ground. So the real story isn't just what happened that night. It's what follows. Because if this was the moment that caught everyone off guard, the next one won't. People are ready now. And that changes everything. Because surprise turns into anticipation. And anticipation is even more powerful. So the question isn't whether this moment mattered. It already proved that.